Well, hello. Just wanted to make a short video, tell you guys about my experience with having my J-tube replaced. Um, some people who have a J-tube might be wondering, what's going to happen if I have it replaced, what that experience is going to be like. So I thought this would be good, at least for them to understand. To all of the other people who've been following me, the last couple of days have been really good days. I've felt a lot better. Those of you who have been watching can probably tell right away that that I'm feeling a lot better. But we're starting chemo again Monday on President's Day, so hopefully it will be a much better experience than the first round. So now back to the J-tube experience. So when I had my esophagectomy, just a few days after the surgery, there was an incident where my J-tube got split a little bit on the end of it, where you insert your feeding tube. This progressed over time to where it was more and more split, to where it was just leaking on me all the time. So with having chemo, I don't want to have these chemicals, leaking. It's just not good, and it's just not good in general to have your stomach leaking on you all the time. So I talked with my oncologist about the situation, and they contacted the doctor who had put the tube in, and the doctor who had put the tube in said that I should just go to the ER. Now, this was a little bit off-putting for me because, I've never, if I go to the ER, it's not something that I'm like, okay, well, one day I need to go to the ER and get this done. It's been like, I've got to go to the ER. Let's go, So I didn't want to mess with it at all. I just kept thinking I could just ignore it, but, it just kept creating different problems with staining my clothes and waking up in the morning, and then I'm wet, and then thinking about how it's going to be once the chemicals are in there, and then it's doing that because I was in between my chemo doses. So I called up the best hospital, what I believe and what I've been told is the best hospital in my area. I asked them if they were in network with my insurance. I kind of briefly went over what was going to go on, and they said, yeah, you just need to go to the ER. It was a Friday. I called, it's probably about 5 o'clock in the 5 o'clock p.m. I called and said, hey, is there a way that I can register with you guys? Because, I've never, have been in a situation like this, and I'm just trying to do what I can to make it go as easy as possible. And no, the lady said, no, you just come on down. And I said, well, what's the best time for me to come? And she said, 3 a.m. I said, 3 a.m.? She said, yeah, because, you come now. If you come tonight, you're going to be waiting for a long time. But 3 a.m. is a really good time to come. So I said, okay. So my sister, thank you, came and picked me up and had me at the hospital a little after 3 a.m. And sure enough, I went there and to the ER, and it was empty. Nobody there, waiting. And it was just a few minutes before they took me back to a room, and just a few minutes more before a doctor came in, and we discussed the situation, and he agreed that it was best just to go ahead and replace the feeding tube, the J-tube. And they went and started preparing everything. Now, the one thing is that they had a lot of trouble finding the right size tube. I didn't even think about the different sizes, but there's different sizes of tubes, and You know, they wanted to match what I already have, of course. And I could overhear the different employees looking for the right tube, and they were having a lot of trouble. So that's what delayed things more than anything, I believe. But then when they found it, the doctor came in, and it was my impression from people that I had spoke with before I went there that this was going to be something that was guided by radiology, like they were going to be able to see this on a scan as they inserted it to make sure they were inserting it correctly. But the doctor just comes in and he's like, we're just going to take it out. There's no anesthesia or anything. We're just going to pull it out and we're just going to put the new one in freehand. And I said, well, what about, radiology or anything like that? And he said, well, we're going to x-ray you after. We're going to put some contrast in so we can see the line, and we're going to x-ray you after to make sure that it's placed correctly. So I was a little uneasy about that, but, he's a doctor, so this is, I'm just trying to trust the process. So I didn't look. I thought at the site while he was pulling it out. I thought that was best. And honestly, taking it out went really easy. It wasn't painful at all. I had very little sensations as far as him taking it out, other than at the very end. Now he said that apparently there's a balloon that is whenever you put the line in, you inflate this balloon, and that keeps the line from coming out. So now my balloon had deflated. So that was one of the reasons why I was having so many problems, where I had to have them do sutures on it to keep it from falling out. So he removed it. He starts putting the new one in, and everything's going smooth for a while, but then I started feeling like some pressure. And I don't know what's normal and what's not, but, I just explained to him, I said, well, I'm feeling some pressure. It's uncomfortable. I don't know what I'm supposed to be feeling, but I'm just letting you know. So, he just tried to be, more and more gradual, gentle at that point. And then when he felt like he was finished, like he had put enough of it in, he called for x-ray to see if everything was okay. And x-ray revealed that the line had actually bunched up somewhere. I don't know how much it bunched up, but apparently that's the pressure, the sensation that I was feeling was that line bunching up. So he comes in, he says, yeah, the line's bunched up. We're going to have to correct that. And I'm thinking he's just going to pull it out a little bit and start, but no, he pulled it out completely. Which, hindsight, now I'm thinking, wow, how much was it really bunched up for him to pull it out completely? Or is that just a normal thing to do? But anyway, when he went to reinsert it right away, it felt uncomfortable. And I told him, I said, this feels really uncomfortable. It doesn't feel anything like it did the first time. So he said, well, the first time I used a lubricant, this time I didn't. So let me use a lubricant. So he takes it out and he puts the lubricant on. He starts putting it back in, and it's so much more smooth and less sensations. And everything's going okay. And every now and then I feel, like a pinch or like a little, like hitting like a nerve. And I'm like, I don't know. And I told the doctor, I said, I don't know what is normal. I don't know. I'm just letting you know. I said, that don't feel right, or that feels uncomfortable. And so he was just very slow and, concentrating the whole time and listening to the feedback I was giving him on the sensations I was having, and just feeding the line in really slow. And now I'm not looking at this the whole time. Never did I, in this whole process, other than when it was finished both times, did I actually look down. But then when he said, okay, well, it's in now, let's test you again. So they brought in x-ray, and they did another x-ray, and right away he looked at the x-ray and said, okay, that looks good. That looks so much better. We're good. And then a few minutes later, they brought in my discharge papers. And then a little while later, the lady come in and put a little gauze around there because I had a little bit of blood that was kind of leaking out there around where, which that's normal, pulling a big line in and out of your body. I was actually surprised how long it was. I took a picture, and it'll be at the end of the video, the picture of the line, my old line that they removed. And it was a lot longer than I thought it would be, what was in there. But then they discharged me from the hospital, and I got to the hospital probably like 3:15 in the morning, and then I was done at 5:30 a.m. So and that's with me just showing up at the ER. So whoever answered that phone call at the hospital and told me that 3 a.m. was the good time, it's absolutely correct. It was. Everything went very smooth. And the facility was top notch, I have to say. Everybody was very nice and everything. Now, just waiting to get that bill in the mail, and hopefully everything was submitted correctly and in network and everything, because there's a big sign on the wall that says our doctors are independent contractors from the hospital. And so I'm like, hey, when you told me that the hospital or the ER was in network, does that mean the doctor is too? And this is after the surgery. I'm asking the question because I see the sign, and the lady's like, she's looking, and she never gave me an answer. So, but at the same time, I'm thinking, well, it's already done anyway. So, if I can remember, I'll let you know how that worked out, if it was all in network and everything. But anyway, so that's my experience with let's see, we can do a little video here where we'll show you the new one. Okay. Now, here's the thing. You see how short this is now? This was not, I had no idea that it looked like this right now, because I came home from the hospital and I went to sleep, and now that I'm awake, it was down here when I came back from the hospital. But now look at it. Look how it's way up here now. So, I don't know how all that happened. My old line used to go way down, used to just hang right here. But this little stopper right here, was against my skin, and then there was a long line that came down to this end piece. But now you see the stopper is at the very end where the end piece is. So, but yeah, this is a lot different than it was before. Now it's just going to be just kind of sticking out of me, which, I guess in a way that's good, because it doesn't have a chance to get caught on as many things as it did before. But it's a brand new line. So that's done. But that's just so odd to me that this thing retracted while I was asleep. That's just really weird. So if any of y'all know anything about that, leave me a comment. If you have any questions about anything, leave me a comment. I'll do my best to try to answer them. I really appreciate when you guys leave comments, because it gives me a chance to interact with you, and it just shows me that you're actually interested in the video and what's going on, and makes me feel good that I can help somebody in some way. So please, leave me a comment if you have any questions at all about anything, and I'll be happy to try to answer them for you. But I guess that's it for today. I will try to make a video after the next round of chemo, and we'll talk about how I'm feeling with that and how that's going. But I hope you're having a good day and enjoy the day you have.